Tip number 1, have a seating chart on day 1. Elementary, middle school, and high school have a seating chart. Don't apologize for the seating chart. The students will complain, accept that complaint and say, oh, I know it's the worst, isn't it? And then ask them to go to their seat. The clearer you can do this, the better, so students aren't confused and don't know where to go, because you don't want those first few moments on that first day to be a confusing experience for your students. So I like to project the seating chart on the board with the students' first names so they know exactly where to sit. Don't be shy about changing up the seating chart if you realize certain dynamics are not working. If students ask, why did you move? You can say, I just thought it was better for the classroom dynamic. You don't have to give any more explanation than that. If students complain about a particular spot that they are sitting in, ask them to come talk to you after class or during lunch. Don't engage in that conversation in a public way. Hear the concerns, tell them you hear them, and it's up to you. You can decide whether or not their concerns are valid, or you can say, I'm gonna go ahead and keep you in the spot for now, and I will let you know if anything changes. I do appreciate you bringing this concern to me. Tip number 2, if you have classes that are more than 45 or 50 minutes, I recommend having a short 3 to 5 minute break in the middle of that class. It will cut into class time, but having a little bit of brain break will actually make the second half of your class more productive. Set an actual timer up on the board and then tell students that they have to be back in their seats by the time the timer gets to 0, or they are not allowed to leave next time we have a break as a consequence. Tip number 3, greet students at the door every day. Say their name, make eye contact with them, shake their hand, or give them a high five or a fist bump. Tell them it's good to see them and mean it, and welcome them into class. It creates at least one positive interaction that you have with every student that day. Tip number 4, if you ask for the student's attention, do not start giving your instructions until it is silent. You don't have to look annoyed while you're waiting, but when you ask for their attention, just look around the room and wait until they have stopped talking. Because if you start giving your instructions when other students are talking, they are getting the message that they actually don't have to stop talking when you ask for their attention. Tip number 5 is related to tip number 4. If you are doing group work and the students are on task, but the noise level keeps getting a little bit louder, but you're not sure what to do because they are on task, but they're kind of loud, write the word noise up on the board. If it gets too loud, erase the E, and then if it continues to get too loud, erase the S, and if it continues to stay loud, erase the I. All you should have left is NO. If you get down to NO, there is no talking for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever it is, and the students have to work silently. This is usually pretty effective because you are giving students those 3 chances. They are getting that immediate feedback when they are getting too loud, and they're a lot more bought into it because you didn't just say, all right, that's it, no more talking. Have a plan for what they're going to do, particularly if it's group work and they generally have to work together. What are they gonna do for those 3 or 5 minutes that they are working silently? You can even say, okay, we're doing 3 minutes of silent work. Each of you is gonna work on your individual part. You will be able to come back together and continue making progress once the 3 minutes are up. Tip number 6 is avoid redirecting students by name as much as you can. If you're waiting for students to get their supplies out, or if you're waiting for students to get in line, or if you're waiting for students to clean up their desk, use the tip. I'm still waiting for 3 students to get their folders out, still waiting for 2 students to clear off their desk. And that causes all the students to stop, reflect, am I one of those students? Oh, I'm not, okay. Or I am one of the students, oh my gosh, let me hurry up. The less you redirect students publicly, the less opportunity you're creating for some kind of power dynamic, or for the student to come back with kind of a snarky remark because they're a little bit embarrassed of you calling them out, and generally makes things run a lot smoother.